Thanks for staying with us on the conversation. In the first half, we dealt with situations in Nigeria where the President, Bola Tinubu, has appointed 8 special advisors to help him run his government. Right now, we move on to Zimbabwe, where lawmakers have given the green light to higher fees for candidates running for president and parliament in the upcoming elections. Presidential candidates will now face a fee of $20,000, while parliamentary candidates must pay $1,000. Supporters of the ruling ZANU-PF party claim that this policy will result in stronger candidates, but opposition members argued that it undermines the fundamental right to stand for office.
The elections are set to take place on August the 23rd, with President Emmerson Mnangagwa vying for a second term against Nelson Chamisa, the Citizens Coalition for Change. The decision to increase the fees 20-fold compared to the previous elections in 2018 has sparked controversy and debate within the country. Now, joining us live from the capital of Zimbabwe, Harare, we have Kudakwashe Munemo, Advocacy Coordinator at the Institute for Young Women's Development in Bindura, Zimbabwe. A warm welcome to you, Kudakwashe, and thanks for joining us on the program.
Thank you so much for having me here.
Now, Kudakwashe, how do you assess the decision by the Zimbabwean Parliament to increase, to implement a significant increase in the fees for presidential and parliamentary candidates in the upcoming elections? What are your thoughts on this increment?
I think suffice to say that the decision made by the Parliament through the Parliamentary Legal Committee is irrational and not in the interest of the citizens of Zimbabwe, in particular young women and also persons with disabilities. Just to say that the background to them doing this is statutory instrument 144 of 2022, which introduced these exorbitant nomination fees for candidates by setting 20,000 United States dollars for a presidential candidate and also United States dollar $1,000 for a member of parliament candidate. So when this happened last year, we did manage to conduct a policy commentary as an organization, and from our assessment ranking Zimbabwe's nomination fees enshrined in that statutory instrument, we realized that this is 10 times that of Kenya, but also almost 4 times that of Zambia, which are neighboring countries and also in the region. So this becomes irrational in the sense that, number one, Zimbabwe's economic situation is deteriorating, and you cannot justify such an increase, especially on the part of young women and women who do not have access to the means of production, who are not owning and also controlling economic resources.
Lots of economic loop sides or loopholes from this supposed increase in this ballot or nomination fees. Now, looking at the political climate in Zimbabwe, we've had reports, we've had conversations, even from the opposition party, CCC, where they claim that the ruling party, that is ZANU-PF, is trying to put a dissent on the opposition. So what are the potential implications of these exorbitant fees on the democratic process and the right to stand for office in Zimbabwe?
These nomination fees are a clear violation of the tenets of democracy. They are actually increasing the cost of participation, and they are actually making the political arena itself a reserved space for the elite. Zimbabwe is a constitutional democracy, and in terms of the country's constitutional provisions, Section 3 in particular provides for gender equality, and also Section 56 provides for equality and non-discrimination. So if you are to do such kind of nomination fees, it means you're actually excluding the majority of the people, especially young women, and also persons with disabilities. So for me, given that the country, number one, is a constitutional democracy, and it also provides for multi-party democracy, trying to deal away with competition in this manner is the potential of actually escalating corruption as well as state capture.
Can you hear us? Kudakwashe, can you hear us? Okay.
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me from that?
Go ahead with your thoughts, please.
Sorry?
Go on, please, with your submissions.
To a question?
I said you can continue with your submission. You're talking about how it affects the democratic standards in Zimbabwe.
I also wanted to say that Zimbabwe is one of the highly taxed countries in the region, and the purpose of taxation, number one, is to ensure that the government gets adequate revenue. Number two, it also does reprice products with a negative bearing on the society. Number three, it also redistributes the wealth, especially to the vulnerable and marginalized groups in the society. Number four, and most importantly, paying tax allows citizens to be represented. So Section 67 of our Constitution provides for political participation, and every citizen has the right to participate in political activities. So if you are to introduce such kind